In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own book cover, even if you're not a designer like I am, and your book cover will come out looking something like this, which looks pretty natural, maybe I would say 70 or 80% of something that a really good designer would give you, but certainly it looks like it has pretty artwork, right? And this is something that I made in about like 5 or 10 minutes, with the only caveat was that it took me longer because obviously after my first draft, I showed it to people, then they told me what they didn't like, and then I fixed it. And I'm not a painter, I'm not an artist, I don't know fancy Photoshop, nothing like this. So in this video, I'll walk you through exactly how I made this poetry book cover. So what did I do first? First, you have to think of like, what's the essence of the book? And the essence of this particular poetry book that I published, it's a poetry book, a collection of my songs accompanied to music, and it's kind of poetry and dreamy. So the idea of the cover was supposed to be something like that, right? So what I did was I went to Pixabay.com, which we're going to go to together now, and I searched for something like dreamy, magical images. Let's do it now just to see how I did this research. This is Pixabay. It's basically a website where you get free stock images, and I searched for something like dreamy. I just wanted something imaginative, things like this. You know, I could have easily used this kind of a cover, although this is too much for kids, right? So you have to go through many images and find something cool. Like, I think this could have been a cool idea for a cover. Like, you know, it's something that's a little bit ethereal, like, you know, poetry. It's like takes you away to a different world and into a dreamland, something like this. And so I browsed a bunch of these. This could have been a great basic background for a cover. Maybe it's a little bit too uninteresting, too little going on, but that's the idea. It could have been this cool image or the middle of it. It could have been something like this. Although none of these so far exactly hit the spot. Like, for example, if I click on this, like, you know, there's this woman, she's kind of an, I don't know what she is. Is she like a cartoon character or a fantasy character? That doesn't perfectly fit with my book, and the bell doesn't kind of perfectly fit with my book. So I left it, and I kept on looking and looking and looking until I found that kind of a woman that is currently in my book cover. And I don't know how I found her. I think I did a bunch of different searches. Like, this is a really beautiful image, right? Even though a book cover would only be half of this because it's vertical, but this is really pretty. Could have been kind of the background, a really nice background. But the reason I also chose a woman, and she's specifically looking at the screen, is because I think this makes a human connection. Like, this woman, if you're on Amazon as a customer and you're searching for books, she makes eye contact with you, and it's a little bit more engaging. So basically, I took this image, and I'll show you what I did. I went to Canva. Canva.com is a free and popular image editing software, and I have an account. You would just make a free account. Once you're in, you would say create a design on the top right, and it will let you create a custom size design. And the Kindle tells you, KDP, they tell you what the pixels are. We'll go there now just so you can see where to find this information. If you're uploading a book or editing, like for example, I'm going to edit, I'm going to select to edit the content. And one of the parts of the content is the cover, and it will tell you what the cover dimensions are supposed to be. So you see this link, see our cover guidelines, and they tell you what the dimensions are. So they literally tell you the height is 2560 pixels and the width is 1600 pixels. Now this is for the Kindle. If you want also to print a paperback edition of the cover, it will be a little different because you have to also create the back flap and the middle part of the book. But we're not doing that just because it's the same process as we're doing now, just different dimensions. So what I wanted to do is show you exactly how to do this. So you on Canva, and you just select the image dimensions that you're told by KDP. Very simple. And you can see my designs are here. So I'm going to click on this design that I made, and we're going to go through how I made it. You see, I took an image. This is the background image of this woman. But notice, I put some notes. That's another image I took from Pixabay. and I put that image here. That image wasn't part of the painting. I took this little boat. This boat wasn't part of it. I took the clouds. I added little tiny elements. They're all images I downloaded from Pixabay, and I just thought, whoa, like a ship on the clouds. It's kind of also dreamy. Some feedback that I got was that it's not people's favorite. Some people said that it would have been better without these. And then all I did was add text. This is text. You see the title and my name, the author name, and the subtitle. It's all just text that you would add here. You see on top there's all these options for editing text. And then you download, and then you have options for how to download. You want to download it as a JPEG so that you can upload it as a cover. And really, this is it. Like literally, this is it. So the background, it looks like a beautiful painting that somebody would have done for you in Photoshop if they were like a professional image editor or a book cover editor. But really, I just took this entire background, like the clouds, the woman, the railroad. That's one image that I downloaded from Pixabay. And this was the original image. You see how I zoomed in on this woman a little bit, and I had to do that because the dimensions were not allowing me to take the whole painting. But basically, I just stuck it as the background, and I cut a little bit of the left side, a little bit of the right side, a little bit of top, just to trim it enough to fit the dimensions of the Kindle. And that became the basic background of my cover, which looks like, probably I hired somebody, but really I did this myself in a few minutes, just like you see here. So that's also how you can create your own book cover for free without spending any money.